guys, I'm going to do a little bit of an intro into this video. Um, we're going to pick this up just about where we left off last time. We're in the channel, heading up into the bottom of Waquoit Bay, and we're just kind of moving along under power, under motor. Obviously, you have to be when you're going up through the channel there. Anyways, I got up into the bottom of the bay. I shut the engine right down. It was still going, and I think it may have actually been in gear, but barely, because I was actually moving along sailing. You can see me managing the jib line and everything like that. But anyway, we're moving along, and I need to explain background before we get to this part here, that I had left at the beginning of my trip, 3 hours into the tide going toward low. In other words, an ebbing tide. And we did that deliberately so that we would have the current all behind us all the way down. And so with the current behind us and an ebbing tide, that meant the tide's going out. So by the time I got down to Waquoit, the tide was like because it took about an hour and a half to get there at least, but it was at least 4.5 hours of the tide going out. Well, you probably know where we're going with this, because I got up into the bay, and I'm sailing quietly along. By the way, you can see from the background, from the beach area back there, the land, that I'm considerably out away from the beach area, and or the land, and I'm just kind of cruising along there, and all of a sudden I realize we weren't going anywhere. You can tell, by the way, you can see it, the land moving, or us moving past the land back behind us. But you get to one point, you can tell, okay, we'll basically stop moving, and you can hear the motor start going blah 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 blah. So it apparently was in gear, but barely running. And so I said, oh no. And this is the thing about Waquoit. It's known for this. When you come up through the channel, you're following all your channel markers, and we did. We're all the way up into the bottom of the bay there. But you get up in there, and the channel markers stop, and if you have a mooring up there, you know where to go, where not to go, and when. But in my case, I'm not a native of that area, and sure enough, I did the unthinkable. I ran aground. By the way, there are two kinds of sailors: those that have run aground and those who lie about it. Okay, that's just a fact. And I've only done it one other time, and that was down in Waquoit Bay several years ago. But anyway, so I ran aground, and I was trying to keep the sail taut, keep the jib taut, hoping that it would heel the boat over enough to maybe drag it off the sand. And it is sand right there; it's not mud, and it wasn't working. And thankfully, I was close enough into the top of the channel area there, coming into the bottom of the bay, to where a nice couple came by in a motorboat and asked if they wanted me to tow them off. And I said, absolutely, thank you very much. And so you're going to see me, run aground. You're not going to be able to tell right away, except that I'm just, you can tell. And I just cut it off right there, and I'm going to pick it back up where they are going to be there, and we're going to be arranging, trying to get a line from the bow cleat up on the front of my boat over to the back of their motorboat. And it worked, and it took a few minutes, but they got us off, got me off, and little girl, and we moved on. But yeah. Hey, it happens. This is the way life is. Like I said, there's only two kinds of sailors: those that have run aground and those who swear, who lie about it. So, all right, guys, we'll leave it at that, and we'll pick it up. Let you, as we're heading up into the channel, and just kind of let you know what's going on. Yeah. Yeah. Hang on. I've been here before, but I don't remember this being this far out. Give me just a second.
Tide's going out, wind's got you pinched.
Huh?
I said the tide's going out and the wind's got you pinched.
Well, I was deliberately letting the wind work, hoping it would drag me off that.
We're watching you, girl. That's a sweet little boat.
What's that?
You're over on the beach out there. We're watching you.
Hang on, let me get up on the bow and clean it. I can't believe how shallow this is.
Yeah, it's 1.4 feet.
Oh well, I'm dragging 2.4. Really? Okay. Thank you so much. Got it? All right, I'll put it through the chalk.
Make sure it's away from everything.
Yeah, you got it.
It's all right for us to start pulling.
Hang on just a second.
I have no choice.
All right, I think I'm ready.
You're gonna need a longer line, and I think I got one. I need one thicker as well.
Hang on. You need a longer line? Hang on. I think it's free. Hang on. right, let me get uncleated. Yeah. And we were off and running. Yeah, the whole process took about 15 minutes to get free. I had thrown them a line initially, and it was too short. And this is why by the way, I cut this all to pieces and just put it in segments because I didn't want you to be bored with the time lag. Anyway, suffice it to say, they threw me a really good long line, pretty heavy. And I was able to just clean it off on the bow, run it through one of my chocks, and you could barely hear it, but I mean, when I listened again, I could hear their motor revving in the distance because they were considerable out ahead of me, and pulling me out to starboard, out to port. In other words, over toward the west side of the lake, and which is where I was headed anyway. But it got done. Okay, live and learn. I think the lesson I've learned, and especially after what I'm going to be talking about in the next video, is I'm not going to be going back to Waquoit. I think next time I'm just going to run out to Martha's Vineyard and maybe hit a couple of the maybe Vineyard Sound, Vineyard Haven and Oak Bluffs. I want to maybe do both of those where I can go in very quietly and hitch up to a mooring where I'm not going to be getting on a sandbar or whatever, So, but that's it. We're free and running. I'm going to just end this. I'm going to cut out the rest of it. Suffice it to say, what I did, I went up to the west side of Waquoit, which is where I had done my very first solo. And I got up there, and the wind was just kicking across the bay. And I just said, forget it. And thankfully, just about that time, my buddy Ryan Mann showed up in a big power boat. He said, you ought to go over and anchor next to my boat. And I looked over across on the east side, and he had a brand new boat. Forget the name of it, but anyway, you'll see it in the video. And he said, go anchor over there. The beauty is, by being on the east side of Waquoit, the land is right there, and so you're not hitting with the wind, which is coming all the way across the length of the width of the bay. And if I had stayed on the west side, I'm convinced I would have been blown right into the beach area. And so anyway, so I did what he suggested. I went and spent the night over there, and it was great. Had a wonderful time. So, all right, I'm going to cut this loose here, and going to end up with just being out on the mooring for the night, and we'll catch you later. Well, guys, here we are at Waquoit. We're in, finally. And this is Ryan's boat right back behind us. This is called Catalyst. It's the one that replaced Avalon. And yeah, it was. I was over on the wrong side of Waquoit Bay, and it was incredibly windy. He said, "You need to go over by my boat." He said, "It's obviously we're in the lee of the land here, so we don't have to mess with the incredible wind that's coming in this afternoon." So anyway, but I'm here for the night, and grateful to be here within right there, if you can see it there, within sight of Catalyst. Ryan Mann's boat. Anyway, yeah, he came, well, after I was just getting anchored over on the other side of the bay. He came by and said, "You need to go over there." So anyway, we're here. And I can tell you right now, it's going to be a whole lot more comfortable sleeping here tonight than it would be on the other side. All right, good to be here. Well, a pleasant evening on Waquoit Bay. After a rather rocking and rolling sail over here, but we're here. And yeah. And thankfully, we are now on the eastern side of Waquoit, not the western side. When I was over there earlier, we were definitely dragging anchor, and I did not want to end up on the beach with this boat. So anyway, but here we are. Pleasant evening. Very nice. Beautiful evening on Waquoit Bay. That's all you need to know. We made it.